We spent this week with 5 different shapes of the same encounter. Grace sees. Grace makes new. Grace turns sentences around. Grace accepts 7 words as enough. And grace makes the self no longer the center. 5 sessions, 1 grace, many faces. Day 1 opened with a dinner party nobody was prepared for. Simon the Pharisee saw a category walk through the door. Jesus asked, "Do you see this woman?" It's the question the whole week was asking us, not whether we approve, whether we actually see. Day 2 went to Paul, not renovation, new. So if anyone is in Christ, there is a new creation. Everything old has passed away. Look, new things have come into being. That word look is an imperative in the Greek. Paul is not just describing what happens, he's directing our attention to it. Look at what is now true. Day 3 gave us 2 words that turn a sentence. But God. Paul spends 3 verses describing the human situation. Dead in trespasses, children of wrath. And then the pivot, but God, rich in mercy. Everything before those 2 words is still true. Those 2 words, though, say it isn't the end of the sentence. Day 5 was the hinge, Galatians 2, verse 20. It is no longer I who live, but it is Christ who lives in me. The center of gravity shifts. The self that was running the show is no longer in charge. And the life that remains is lived by faith in the one who loved us and gave himself for us. That verse will keep giving things to us for a long time. But the session I keep coming back to is day 4, the tax collector and the 7 words he speaks. Here's the thing about the Pharisee's prayer that we sometimes miss. He wasn't lying. He fasted twice a week. He gave 1/10 of all he got. Everything he said about himself was accurate. His obedience was real. But notice where the prayer was actually directed. He wasn't talking to God. He was reviewing his own resume. God was nominally in the address line, but the audience was himself. And then the tax collector, standing far off, won't even raise his eyes, beats his breast and says, "God, be merciful to me, a sinner." 7 words. No credential, no comparison, no performance. Just the situation and the request. God, mercy, me, sinner. That's it. And he goes home justified, not the one with the polished prayer. What justifies isn't eloquence, it's honesty. The tax collector didn't dress the request up. He brought the most honest thing he had, and it was enough. So here's the invitation for this week, and I'm going to ask you to do it now, before this video ends, not later, right now. The tax collector's prayer is available to all of us. No credential required, no polished language, no reviewed resume. You don't have to have your life together. You don't have to understand everything about justifying grace. You don't have to know what it will mean tomorrow. 7 words. God, be merciful to me, a sinner. That's enough. It has always been enough. Say them wherever you are right now, before this video ends. If you just said those 7 words for the first time, welcome. Something happened. You don't have to fully understand it yet. And for those of you who've said them maybe 100 times, say them again. They don't wear out. Next week we ask, now what? You've been held before you knew it. You've been met. So what does this life look like from here?